I want to take a little bit of time now and give you an overview of the system. When you signed up for Tracker Go, you inevitably came to the screen where it's a splash screen, and there's an important little feature here, which is changing your password. So if you click on number 2 here, you can actually then change your password, and we absolutely would like you to do that. We generate a system password for you, and you'll get an email with that, but it's important to apply your own password and make sure it has a good strength to it, and everything should be fine. There's also a customer code that we add to your login, so it adds an extra layer of security. So you'll get that in the email, and make sure you know what that is, and bookmark that somewhere so you can apply it later. Okay, so essentially you could scroll through these here, and it tells you a little bit about how to get in touch with us, a little bit about our training, and there's the basic intro right here. So if at any time after this overview you feel that you want one-on-one training over the internet, we would be certainly glad to give you that, and it is absolutely no cost to you. It's how we extend our gratitude towards you as a new client. So Tracker Go has, again, an appealing interface, and one of the nice things about it is right off the bat, we have a dashboard at the top here that gives you basically figures for your sold quantities, your sold amounts, your open quantities, your open amounts, your canceled quantity, and your canceled amounts. And this kind of gives you a snapshot roll-up of what's going on with sales. And it's always what's in the grid at this point in time. So even if you have pages beyond what you're looking at in the viewport, it'll still add those cumulatively for you. Here is a very nice search bar. So as you change elements in the search bar, things change down here in the grid. So this is a very cool thing to do filtering. Now on the left here, you'll see that there is a calendar. Our calendar is a general calendar where you could actually add events to the system. This is our leads navigation tab, which we are at right now. We also have the ability to manage accounts, the ability to manage contacts. We also have a campaign system where you can actually integrate all of your automated marketing in with leads and doing follow-ups and new product offerings, and everything works beautifully and seamlessly right in the interface here. So you don't have to go to Constant Contact and then run a CRM and worry about running 2 different systems, or even worry about integration between those. Everything in Tracker Go is good to go, and it's seamless in one unified visual plane. We also have a dashboard as well. You can see here the link. We also have reporting, which includes custom reporting as well. And then we also have a large configuration area where you can start to set up some of the configuration. So let's take a look at one of the leads. So here's a lead, and you can see that it tells you what the status is, the source. We see what the sales stages are, and this is sample data, and you should have seen this when you actually logged into the system. So if I view the lead, right, I'm here. You'll see that there's some panels of information here. So this is an existing lead, and if you want to edit this information, all you have to do is hit the edit button, or you can go back at any time to where you were, or you can actually add a new lead while you're here. I want to take a look at, I want to introduce you to some of the panels here. You have the basic information right here, okay, which basically allows you to do the generalized information related to the lead, like the account name, the subject, the description, the source of the lead, the sales stage. So if I flip this into edit mode, you see right now I'm actually have the ability to edit the lead right here and right now. One of the nice things about Tracker Go, and you'll see here in the visit link, is I have the ability to cross-pollinate. I can go right to that account while I'm in the basic information area. This breaks the old traditional paradigm of having to go to the link over here and then go and do another search. That cross-pollination becomes important to you as a user to build that efficient traction you need as a sales department to be able to get to other things quickly, fastly, efficiently. As we scroll down here, you see the different kinds of lead sources that you could apply. There's various sales stages. You can assign a salesperson. And one of the things that we have also is the ability to email leads out. So when this lead is being created, you can actually email it out when you're done and you save it. And what will happen is it'll actually go to all the recipients and they'll get emails on that lead, and they could actually respond from their email inbox. And all of the responses that come in on Tracker Go, whether they're in the CRM here itself or whether they're responding through email, go into this replies area over here, which I'll show you in a bit. And so all of the conversations that occur on a lead are actually happening in a sort of a Facebook type of environment. It's a chronological timeline, and there's full accountability. You know who said what, when they said it, all the participants in the chain, and you don't have to live off of a paper napkin anymore. I mean, and that's, you may not be doing that right now, but I'm saying some people do, and that gets very tedious, especially if you're dealing with multiple leads across different channels. It gets really confusing to manage all the information flow, which is the beauty of Tracker, is that it actually manages that conversational timeline for you. Down here, this is our basic sales information. And so in the sales, there's a very important piece of information here called routing override. In Tracker Go, you have the ability to be able to have automatic lead routing. When you create a lead here, you can assign the salesperson yourself, but if you want to, you could let the system decide where it goes to. And this becomes really important because in Tracker Go, you have different ways leads come in. This is just one way, by actually adding one yourself. But the other ways that it occurs is through a methodology called mass capture, where when you create a campaign, it sends the emails out, the recipients get those, and then they can actually respond from their email inbox. And when they click and respond, that lead will literally end up in the grid I just showed you a minute or two ago. So that's one way leads come in. Another way leads come in is through what we call web capture. See, Tracker could be integrated with your website so that your form could be integrated with the backend database. So when somebody fills out your form, they show an interest in your products and services, they fill it out, they hit the submit button, and that lead flows right into the Tracker system automatically without you doing anything. And so in those kind of cases, we want to set up lead routing so we know who it's getting routed to. And there's some out-of-the-box algorithms that I produced for this. So one of them would be like highest territory sales manager or a load balancing algorithm. We also have a round robin type of an algorithm, and all these are based upon the way the token gets passed around. So in the case of sales territories and dollar amounts that are high, it would go to the person with the highest production. Also, there's a load balanced kind of an algorithm. So if you get a lead and I get a lead and somebody joins the team and they're new, they would get the lead. So it keeps a balance of the load. And we also have, of course, a default one called keyman. And keyman means whenever an automated lead would come in, it would always go to that key person. Okay. Down here, you have an area called templates. And templates are really cool because you could actually select a template that you want to assign to do an automated follow-up to that particular lead that came in, which in this case is this. So you can assign a lead, and you can actually edit a frequency here, which would be in days, weeks, or months, and set when this thing goes out. And what happens is that the recipient will get that, they'll get the follow-up, and then they can actually respond to that. And when they respond, it'll show up in that replies area I was telling you about over here. And the beauty of it is that you don't have to make all the calls. It just follows up for you automatically. I mean, basically, you're an autopilot, and it's just working for you around the clock. Okay? A little bit about this area here. You can actually add activities quite easily here. You just put in your activity, save it, and it adds it to a timeline. There's an ability to add notes here. You could also add file uploads. You could also add events on a time calendar here. Also, there's something called tags where you could add additional phone numbers, new competitors, new services, categories. And this is really a cool feature because in a lot of traditional systems, you only have the ability to have like one piece of data related to that instance, like in the case of a lead, like one phone number. But what happens if you have multiple phone numbers? So this gives you that ability to add these like tags for that particular lead instance. And then in the replies tab, you'll see here that this is an area that talks about what the lead was. This was the introduction. And then in Tracker, you could actually create a comment here and then reply on that. And as you reply on that, you'll see that it starts to build a separate thread of conversation. And then somebody can actually reply to this here. So you can have multiple conversations in Tracker across multiple people, and it all keeps everything enforced for you, guided on a chronological timeline. And the beauty of this too is that with this, with Tracker Go, you can actually exclude prospects from a conversation. So if you're talking to your vendors or somebody else, they will not see that lead when they have to respond to something. It'll be hidden from them. So there's a kind of a built-in visibility there. Now, going back to the leads area, there's basically three types of accounts in Tracker Go. You have your normal user, you have sales managers and managers, and you also have a super user. So just a little bit about visibility. A super user can see everybody's leads, whether there's a manager there and then a subordinate salesperson, because Tracker Go offers you sales teams. You can build teams and territories. So the super user sees everybody. The manager sees his own leads, or he can see his subordinates. And the salesperson only sees their leads. And with this way, we maintain a certain type of a privacy in the Tracker Go system, okay? Well, just to show you the accounts. So it's a similar interface to the leads, where you have the grid, the drill down here, and then you could actually go into view an account, and here you go. And you'll see that the right panel is similar to the other one for the leads, where you can keep all of that added information in a one-to-many relationship. You see the activities, the notes, the uploads, the events, and the tags. But there is no replies on this as of yet. We do plan to do that. You'll see here is the contact information. We can go into edit mode here, and you'll see that you're able to fill this out and to basically specify the client type as well. Moving over to the contacts area, you will see, as leads and accounts and also contacts, there's a search bar here as well, and you can actually view your contact. And here it is, and you can go in and edit this, and it's got place for phones, mobile, website URL, Facebook URL, Twitter URL, and this is the primary phone number. And the primary for the mobile, the basic website URL, a Facebook URL, a Twitter URL, and then on top of it, of course, the tags will allow you to add more stuff. Moving over into the campaigns area, here is our basic campaign system. We don't have a template made currently, but normally you would go into here, you could make a template, and let me show you how this is kind of done. You could actually put, hello world. I'll put the name of a template here. We'll call it Mike's template, and we can quickly go and save that template here. And you'll see here it is. It shows here. And the beauty of Tracker Go is that you're able to interrelate the campaign system with the leads. So what you do is you create these templates. You can go over to here and create a campaign profile on the right side over here. And you could set its date information, the name of the campaign. You could put all kinds of financial things like budgeted cost, actual cost, revenue information, the type of campaign, which is your own kind of a subnote, a campaign description. And essentially, when you're ready to send this out, you basically select the campaign you want, which is something that you would have already created here. You would select it from the dropdown. You would also select a template, that is associated with that campaign, and the two of them together then define a coupling, and then you put in the from address, and then you can actually send it out, okay? But before you even do that, there's a test area right here at the top, and you're able to send a test to an email address of your designation. So if you have an email address and you want to look at how the email looks before you send it out, which we highly recommend, then you put your email address here, you select the template, and you hit the test button. You'll get an email, and you can actually look at it and look how it looks and feels. And if you're happy with the results, then you can go into this mode where you actually send it, okay? A little bit about the sending features. You have what's called email lists, and you have categories. So in the tracker system, when you're dealing with an account, in that right side area over there, which I was showing you before, where the replies are and the tags, you can actually create a category tag. So if you have a company that sells motorcycles and sells automobiles, for instance, let's say you want to target automobiles and not motorcycles. Any company that you're selling to that buys that particular type, you can target them by choosing the category. Of course, there's no categories right now built, but normally you would just select one here, and then you're targeting that type and excluding the other. Also in Tracker, you have the ability to import email lists. So in this area here, which is the configuration area, you can actually build lists here. You can import them, and you can actually use them here by selecting them, one or more. Now, the way the sending works, and it's interesting, is that there's an option here called email list only. So if you only want to send to your email lists that you've imported, you can do so, but you would have to specify it here by clicking on the checkbox. If you don't have this selected when you send out the campaign, then it's going to go to your email lists and the internal database. And the internal database is going to be basically all of the accounts in this area here that you already have established. And that could be prospects, people that have not bought from you yet, or people that have bought from you. And they'll get that email as well. When I say accounts, we use it in a more looser sense, because even those that have not purchased from you, and even B2Bs and all kinds of types there, are all associated under the accounts hooding, okay? So it actually targets them as well. Now, if you have an email that goes out to somebody whose email address is on the list, the email list, and also in the database, then you're going to get what is a duplicate, and it will only send it out one time. So it doesn't send it out twice. Also, at the bottom of the email, when the recipient gets it, they have the ability to respond to it. They click on a link, it takes them to a form, they put a response in, they hit the send button, and it actually adds itself to the leads grid I showed you when we first got started, which is very cool. And this is kind of what I mean when I say everything kind of integrates seamlessly in the system. You don't have like constant contact you're using, and then your CRM, or two different CRMs, one for management of your basic entities, and then one for your campaigning that you like more. We've unified it into one whole, where you get all of the pounds for in one step. Okay. We also have an auto sequencer here, which you can click on, but basically it's the same thing as this, but it allows you to create a time series of emails that get sent out, a drip sequence. So you could actually create 5 templates, and then you could assign dates and times to each one, and they go out in that series one by one. And what happens is that if they receive it and they respond to it, it doesn't send the second one. It only sends the first because they responded. But if they don't respond, it keeps sending them until it reaches its endpoint. Okay, so that's kind of what the concept is of the auto sequencer. And then you can set your frequencies here, and all kinds of cool stuff. Well, on the configuration tab, and I'll take you there quickly, you can set all kinds of custom fields up here. So for instance, for lead sources, you'll see the basic ones it comes with already, but you could add your own. And you can never delete the basic ones we have for you here, but you can always delete yours. However, if you add one and it's tied to a lead, let's say, and you try to delete your custom one, it won't allow you to, because it knows there's a lead it's tied to. So that's custom setup. Then you have the lead routing area, which is over here. You can actually select your routes. We have a bit of security here in the navigation, which defines who can do what. Your basic admin panel is here, which allows you to create your own internal CRM users. This is where you define your managers, your territories, and your salespeople. And this is your basic management, your core feature for adding your salespeople and your managers and your super users. This is for web capture. I think I mentioned that web capture was the ability to integrate your website with Tracker so that you could actually create a form on your website. When somebody fills out the information, it flows right into the leads grid automatically. So there is a download for you here where you can integrate it with JavaScript, and we provide you with that. If you need assistance with that, we will absolutely be glad to help you with that. This is where you manage your email lists. You create lists that I just showed you in the campaign area that you can import and then use in your campaigns. This is the SMTP area. What's nice about Tracker Go, and I didn't get into this, is that we have the ability to scrape your inboxes. You can define several inboxes, as many as you want, and Tracker Go will monitor your email inboxes, your SMTP servers. And what it does is it reads all of the emails in your inbox and it presents it to you here in Tracker, where you can actually approve it as a lead. And this is a really cool feature because sometimes going into your email inbox and copying the information out and creating a new lead by hand, because of that, gets to be tedious. So having everything kind of right there in a grid where you can just click a button and just say, I approve this, I approve that, is a fantastic feature. This is where you import your contacts, accounts, and leads. Email capture is what I was just telling you about. We also have workflow. So this becomes important where you can actually define some of the workflow that occurs within your organization. So for instance, and it's targeted for particular types of events that occur in the system. So for instance, if you have a lead that reaches a particular sales status, like 1, or let's say it's a negotiation, and you want to notify executives about what's going on, well, the system can be set up so that those executives' emails are included on a send out. They get automatically when a lead changes its state to a negotiation or even 1 status. They get the email and they get visibility, and they can actually talk to the salesperson, have a conference, whatever they want to do. So it gives you a way to engage the community in important kind of decision making when you get closer to that sale. Finally, we have a Google Sync, where you're able to sync the calendar here with the Google. So if you have entries in Google that you want to sync into our CRM here, you can actually do that. And if you have entries in the CRM here that are not in Google, it will move those entries over into Google. So there's a single shot or bidirectional transfer, depends on what you want. If something exists in both, it doesn't add a new one, it just updates it. And then it never deletes. We don't take control of your deletes. That's something we allow you to do. And we also have an Outlook sync as well. So the Outlook sync is a download you could do. You actually add the Outlook add-in into your Outlook system, and you will do this. It's conceptually exactly the same as the Google sync. Okay. So other things, there's reporting here, which you can get into when you take a further look at the demo. The dashboard, which gives you great roll-up figures. And again, if you need any help, any assistance with our system, please feel free to contact us and reach out for a particular time in which we can give you the guidance you need and take you through that online tutorial and go into deeper activity with you. And again, if you have custom needs, there's things you need to do, please feel free to reach out to us, and we will talk to you and discuss the customizations that we can apply to your needs. Okay. Thank you for your time, and have a wonderful day.